Hello everyone, welcome to week 6 of our CSA. We are on a B week, so if you're half share and you are B weeks, then you will pick up this week. I know a lot of you picked up on Tuesday. I typically do the live unboxing Tuesday night, but this got moved to tonight because I was away the beginning of this week, so we just got home late last night, so I did my pickup and we'll do the live unboxing tonight. So basically our live unboxing, we go through what we received in our shares this week, and then I'll talk about how to store each item and then possible uses for each item. Probably about half of the items this week, maybe a little bit less than that actually, now that I'm looking, are items we've had before, and then quite a few new items. So I know I posted a post on Tuesday just for the people picking up on Tuesday, giving you hints and ideas for storage for the new items, but we'll go over those tonight. Before we do that, an announcement. We have pick your own flowers this week, starting this week, so they'll be for the next several weeks. Please make sure you bring a jug and also shears. Like today when I went out, it was pretty muddy, so make sure you're wearing shoes that you can navigate those aisles with and get your feet muddy. I had flip-flops on. Luckily I had rain boots in my car that I could switch to. So expect, if there's been any rain, to experience some muddy conditions in the fields if you're out there for any of the U-picks. So just come prepared. All right, so for tonight, we have our salad greens. Our salad greens we've had every week. Great for salad, obviously. These get stored in the fridge unwashed. If you do wash them, then place them between paper towels so that the paper towels absorb the moisture. But best if they're left unwashed. These are probably the thing out of this week's share you want to use first. So these are going to be our most fragile items and not going to last as long as everything else. We have Swish Chard. So Swish Chard is just another green similar to, you store it similar to kale. The leaves are really big. So I'm going to store it in one of the green bags. If you haven't purchased green bags, I've talked about them before. I love them. This is my first year using them. They are making my produce last a lot longer. So they're Debbie Meyer green bags. You can purchase them right on Amazon. This won't really fit if you have a Ziploc bag. It's not going to fit in a Ziploc bag because it's too big. But it will fit in one of the larger Debbie Meyer green bags. So unwashed, in a green bag or in plastic in the fridge. You can also wrap it in saran wrap. Great sauteed, put into a stir fry. You can actually eat it raw. So anything you would use your other greens for. I love Swiss chard with eggs. So I feel like sauteed with some onions and garlic, either we'll talk about the onions and garlic we got this week. You could add those, saute it right in your on top of your stove, crack some eggs in it, and it goes really well. So great for a breakfast or a breakfasty dinner. Okay, we have Radicchio. This gets stored as is in the fridge. You can put it in a plastic bag in your crisper drawer. It is a little bitter, so if you want to take some of that bitterness out, you're gonna wanna soak it in salt water for 10 minutes. I love Radicchio grilled or roasted. You can also eat it raw. If you are using it raw in like a salad or as, you could use it, you could put like tuna salad, chicken salad, egg salad in a leaf and use it as a wrap. It goes really well with things like that. But if you are using it raw, make sure you rinse it, dry it really well. For roasting it, I roasted some tonight. I just sliced it. I soaked it for the 10 minutes to try to get some of the bitterness out. And then I sliced it into quarters. Mine was a little bit smaller than this one. This one's a little bit of a big head. drizzled some oil on it, did salt, garlic powder, onion powder, roasted it in the oven on 375 for I think about 20 minutes, and then I turned it to broil just for probably 30 seconds to a minute to get it nice and crispy, and then I drizzled a vinaigrette over top and some goat cheese and made it more like a salad, and then served that with the chicken breast. So just one idea for Radicchio. It's really good grilled too, so that was actually my original intention tonight, but it started pouring, so I wasn't gonna get on the grill. We have summer squash. So summer squash has been with us before, stored in the fridge. These, I see a lot of people grilling them. They're great on the grill. This week I got some tinier ones, but then I also got this bigger one. The bigger one is, you can eat it as is, so if you slice it, grill it, but when you get down to this section, the seeds are gonna be really big. So this is something where I tend to, as they get larger, I kind of scoop out the seeds and make a boat out of it. So I stuff it, or just remove the seeds, and the outside is still tender. Love making noodles out of these. So a carb-free noodle or a grain-free noodle. What else? Grilled, roasted. The recipe this week features summer squash, so it was posted this morning. It features summer squash, onion, garlic scapes, and the potatoes that we'll talk about. So it's just grilled packets. So that was posted this morning, so check that out. And remember that that's just kind of a guideline. As we get different things throughout the season, you can throw different items in those grill pouches. And then I also give you an option to make a herb butter, which pairs really well with a lot of the grilled veggies. All right. So we have our fresh sweet onions. How do we know they're fresh? Because the greens were left on them. We had a couple questions about, are the greens edible? Yes, absolutely. They're kind of like a big scallion, a little bit. I feel like they're a little bit more oniony. If nothing else, if you don't plan on using them, chop them off and throw them in your, rinse them and throw them in your veggie scrap bag in your freezer. They will help season your broth that you can use your veggie scraps for. So these are uncured. So they're fresh from the fields. We do not want them, we want them stored in the fridge. They're not cured, they're not gonna last. So store them in the fridge. You can store them just like this in a Ziploc bag or in a plastic bag, or you can remove the green tops and store the green tops separately from the onion bottoms. Again, this week's recipe features some of these sweet onions, and I also posted a great dressing recipe that caramelizes the onions and uses that as the onion base, which I plan on trying this weekend for the holiday weekend. So that's what I'm gonna save these for. It sounds really good and would go over the greens, and some other roasted veggies would pair really well with them. Okay, we have basil again, and I already took the rubber band off of the basil, but we want to put the basil in a cup filled with water on the counter. Basil does not like cold, so we want to keep it at room temperature. As the water evaporates, just make sure you continue to fill that. We don't want that to drain out. Basil is great for pesto. We posted a pesto 101 PDF that you can use as a guideline for pesto. It's also really good in salad dressing. It's really good in cocktails, actually. You can, so the herb butter that I made for the recipe this week, you can chop up basil and make a basil butter. I did that and actually have it in my freezer because we went away after I made that stuff, so I froze it immediately. So those butters, you can make long logs of them with your fresh herbs, and then they freeze really nicely, and you can take them out when you want to eat them. So basil on the counter, not the refrigerator, cold. So we also got dill, and dill pairs really well with our potatoes that we got this week. Dill, same as basil, we want it in a cup, in water, but this we want in the fridge. So we want to keep this in the fridge. It does like the cold. And then remember a couple lives ago, I believe, dill does dehydrate really well. So if you know you're not going to use all of the fresh dill, then throw some in your dehydrator, dry it out. You'll have a nice fresh dehydrated dill. And it also freezes really well. So I freeze it, I wash it, dry it, and then lay it between paper towels. And in between the paper towels, you can freeze it, and it lays really nicely. Let me show you what mine looks like. So this is straight out of my freezer. So I can take this dill, which has been frozen, and I can use it just like this. So I can put it on top of my potatoes. It essentially can be used frozen. I can just chop it up. So it's a way to preserve it. Here's my veggie scrap bag. I'm actually on my second bag. So greens, mushroom stems, I don't even know what else I have in here. Stalks, I think I have some, I don't know. All the stuff I don't really use in a recipe or don't plan on using that week go in here. And once I get 2 to 3 bags, I'll create a veggie broth out of it. So this is just frozen. The other thing I wanted to show you before we finish up the veggies is this was last week's recipe. I think it was last week. This was my kale pesto. So one way you can preserve your pesto is to freeze it. So I froze it in ice cube trays. And then once they were frozen solid, I broke those ice cube trays and threw them. I don't know if you guys can see how they're little cubes? They're probably about 2 tablespoons worth of pesto in each cube. So if I need pesto, all I need to do is go in my freezer, grab the pesto, either defrost it, like if I'm gonna put it on a sandwich or something, or if I'm gonna put it in pasta, all I need to do is have warm pasta, let it, pull it out of the fridge and mix it into that warm pasta. Add a little heat and it'll break down. So those are good ways to preserve your pesto cubes, no matter what you make it out of. Okay, a couple more items. I think we have 4 more items. We have Kirby Cucumbers. These rarely make it more than 24 hours in my house. In fact, I think we received 5 of them and 2 are completely gone. In fact, all of these would be gone tonight if I had chopped them up, but I needed them for this live. We love them raw. So serve them with a dip, just serve them as a snack. We leave the skins on. I wash them, slice them thin. You can slice them all different ways, slice them into rounds or slice them into spears. They're just super yummy on salad and really good just as a fresh snack. I served them as a snack today for my boys with hummus, and they ate them with the hummus. We have garlic scapes again. So garlic scapes, oh, and the cucumbers just get stored in the fridge, like in your crisper drawer. Garlic scapes, store in a plastic bag in the fridge. We've had these for a few weeks now, so we have garlic scape pesto we talked about. We can use these as a garlicky additive. These are in the recipe for this week. So instead of using a garlic clove, I used the garlic scapes and used more of them. They're milder than our garlic cloves, so I tend to use more. If you want to preserve these, wash them, cut off the ends, and then just chop them and freeze them. I like to freeze them on a cookie sheet, let them be good and frozen, and then throw them into a Ziploc bag that's labeled. And then I can pull out however many I need for a particular recipe. Okay, 2 more items. We had, so I used, if you watched my very, very first live video, for the potatoes and for the green beans this week, I used my t-shirt bags. So these are a great way to use the t-shirt bags. Go back to that first live video, which is on our YouTube channel, to see how I made these, but repurposing t-shirts. So we have our new potatoes, all different sizes. Same as the fresh onions, new potatoes are uncured. So we want to store these in the fridge. These are wonderful. They taste amazing. They're in this week's recipe, and there's also a bunch of recipes on the blog. I know I did one last year that had the potatoes and the squash. That's amazing. It looks really pretty too. I have a smashed potato recipe that's really good that would work with these. And I feel like there's a few others on there as well. You could make hash browns, you could make breakfast potatoes, you could boil them, you can roast them, you can actually grill them. So lots of things. Potatoes tend to be, these would be great actually on the grill or boiled with some pesto on top, maybe garlic scape pesto with a little basil. So lots of ways you can use them, but stored in the fridge because they're uncured. They're new, they're fresh from the farm. And the last thing, so we do have you pick herbs. If you picked any of the you pick herbs, they have pink flags on them. I picked a little bit of mint and some of the flowers, and I'm working on ice cubes, which I will post if they come out good. I just kind of picked a few that I thought would work for ice cube for just flavoring water. The last item we have are you pick green beans. We got to pick a quart of these. So these are best stored in the fridge in a bag, unwashed. Pretty much everything you're not washing until you're ready to use it. So this, again, I used another t-shirt bag, threw them all in there, and it's nice and easy to store. Green beans are great raw. You can steam them, you can saute them on the stove top, you can make green bean almondine, you can do like a cooked green bean on top of a salad, you can actually pickle green beans. Again, this is an item, sometimes they make it to the point where they get cooked, but a lot of the time my kids just eat them raw, fresh from the farm. So I think that's it. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. If there's any questions that you have on this week, please let me know. Oh, summer squash. We're getting a lot of the summer squash. So if you still had summer squash from last week, obviously use that first. If, like let's say you're going someplace this weekend, you're going away soon, you want to preserve the summer squash, you can grate that and freeze it. I usually freeze it in proportions, so like 2 cups, I grate it and then throw it into a bag and label it 2 cups of summer squash. We can also bake with it, so like zucchini bread and things like that would work really well as in a frittata or a quiche. So those are ways you can kind of use that stuff up. The sweet onions, if anyone tries that dressing before I do, let me know if it's good. Can't wait to try that. And the pick your own herbs, most of the herbs are gonna be stored in the fridge. I know a lot of you have fun little containers that they store really well in. I tend to just put them in plastic bags just because I don't have any of those containers other than your basil, which stays on the countertop. All right, so let me know if there's any questions, and that's it for this week. Have a great holiday weekend, and I will see you all again Tuesday night. So next week we resume the normal Tuesday lives. Bye.